How's it going, everybody? And welcome to a new series that we're going to call, title pending, The Majestic Hour, where we're going to play random games, mostly strategy, at least for the start here, where we're going to use about, we're going to say 3 to 5 sessions of this game to decide if we want to see more of it or if we want to give it a pass. The point of this is to really try out a bunch of different strategy games and see what they have to offer, if the campaign's great. Now, for this first one, my opinion is a little biased, as I have played this series before. Long ago, I played the first Majesty. That is an interesting RTS game. I would not specifically classify it as just RTS, but it effectively is. You will see once we get into the tutorial here what kind of gameplay that comes up from this one. I don't want to spoil anything until we get there. If you've not heard or seen of this series before, it is definitely one that is very near and dear to my heart. Let's see here. I'm gonna make sure everything's set correctly. Sound is fine. No special subtitles. Everything seems fine. Okay, so we're gonna start a new campaign here. I have played this before, but here we go.
Ardania, glorious Ardania. For the last 5 centuries, descendants of the great king have sat upon this throne. Indeed, 'twas the great king, our first ruler, who united the lands from the southern seas to the northern fields. He whose blade was the death of 1,000 foes. And each king thereafter followed the tradition, slaying dragons, hunting down necromancers, and exterminating legions of goblins and rats. Thus, each in their time came to be known as great. But our good King Leonard was born to hard times. The necromancers of old had long since been vanquished, and the rats had grown small and pitiful. And as he grew older, our king came to fear the worst, that his portrait might never hang in the hall of the great kings. Though he had yet to prove his mettle, the blood of a hero ran swift in his veins. Thus, our brave king, in his wisdom, determined that he would summon up the most terrible Baron of Hell. For indeed, all of Ardania would sing the praises of any mortal who could slay such a beast. And so, applying all their skill and concentration, the court mages performed the terrible ritual. And the demon lord did appear. Leonard never wavered, but stood locked in his deadly contest for 5 long days. But alas, in the end, the demon beast prevailed. And so that spawn of hell took Leonard's place on the throne. Since then, many princes and dukes have perished in futile effort to destroy the beast. Darkness and despair have fallen over Ardania. But now I have found you, your majesty, the last heir of the great king's bloodline. You, our only hope. Your kingdom awaits you, sire.
Wonderful. As you can see, this game does not take itself too seriously, at least in the story regard. Fair bit of humor involved. Now you'll see they tell you exactly how many missions are available. Now each mission cannot be started whenever you want. It almost follows a pattern, but not a singular pattern until the very, very end. So we have a few choices here. We have a tutorial mission that I do not believe you have to play. but we will anyway for the sake of it. With any luck here, we can do both. Now, our main goal with this game, and not just this game, but the whole series, is, like I said, in 3 to 5 videos, you should get an idea of what we're looking at here, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion if you want to see more of this game or not.
Greetings, Your Majesty. Welcome to my
1 second here.
humble mansion. Centuries ago, it was granted to my family by one of the great rulers of Ardania. We all have hope you shall become one of the great kings yourself. But first, you must learn the secrets of statecraft. My mansion will be just fine for this purpose. It's seen better days. I had planned to put it on the market, maybe look for something a little cozier. On the water, perhaps. Your Majesty wouldn't happen to know a good real estate agent, would you? The problem is, wolves have recently infested the neighborhood. They keep eating my chickens and knocking over my garbage cans. Why, I've had 3 stewards quit this very week. The first part of your training will be to deal with these pests, Your Majesty. Hopefully before the price drops too low. A new quest for you, Your Majesty.
And you can see that they're kind of telling us just basic tutorial things.
First, Your Majesty, your cities must be protected. Start with the construction of a guardhouse.
Okay, I'm not sure what that guy was doing. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this down a little bit. It is a little bit loud here. Okay, and we can build guardhouses down here. Now we're dealing with a little bit of trouble with the wolves. We will build
Once
one.
you've chosen an appropriate site,
Out
your
here?
loyal peasants will begin construction. Peasants are the main labor force of the kingdom, Your Majesty. Keep an eye upon wandering monsters, as they're apt to make a snack of them.
If you don't like the wait, you can increase the speed of the game, which is very important, because the secret of this game, and we're going to find that very soon, you can kind of choose these build locations, but you're noticing that I am not moving the peasants or anything of the sort. Now, of course, we can't build everything here, as it is a tutorial. They're going to make us wait. They're really making us wait to build this up, but that's fine. Actually taking quite a bit of time to build that up. And the lovely thing here is that is actually your money resource, is actual tax collectors who go out and tax your peasants. You have no control over that. They just kind of do that as they choose. Now,
A new building is complete. Your Majesty, it is not becoming for the king to take to the battlefield himself. All the great deeds of the king are facilitated by the hands of your stalwart heroes. Heroes can be hired in guilds. I'd advise you to build a Rangers Guild, sire.
wonderful. And this is how it begins. So, our first building unit will be the Noble Ranger, who will explore. Now, they will go over this in the tutorial, but I'll give you
For
a...
a start, Your Majesty. Once your peasants have finished building the guild, we'll start hiring heroes.
Good. Now, these are guilds as far as the game is concerned. But how it works in this one is you build the guild, and then you pay the money to hire a ranger to fit into that guild. And then you will have no control over this said unit you've just purchased. They are their own heroes, they have their own adventures, and they will have their own desires or wants. Now, this is not a very complex thing, as nice as it would have been. All rangers love to explore, so if the option is there, they will run around and explore the map. There are quite a few units, but as far as the starting location goes, we have the Warriors Guild, the Rogues Guild, Rangers, and Clerics. So you have your loves to fight units. Clerics are usually best for an upgrade later, where you can put them into groups of 4. That is not dealt with, I believe, in this tutorial, but very, very useful, as clerics do obviously have the healing capabilities. Rogues are also useful. They give you a few nice abilities. Rogues are also nice as they are very quick to run, which is very nice when you don't want them to die too soon. Warriors are often ones that will stay in a little bit longer than you would hope. But it is very interesting to see, because all heroes do have their worries and fears. If they walk up to something that is way above their skill level, they will flee. The only time they will not is if the guild hall is under attack. They will fight because they have no other choice. Of course, you don't want this to happen, but it is a thing that does happen. And hiring heroes doesn't take too long. And an interesting feature, which we will go over soon, once we get a new ranger. You'll also see is you can buy them upgrades as per usual.
The guild, Your Majesty. Special training will be available to your heroes once upgrades are completed.
This is exactly what I was talking about there. All things can be built, and in order to get their upgrades, you will need to pay more and upgrade the guild even further. Now, you'll see here in the bottom middle, there is a little bit of a cap on how many you can have. Now, there is no limit on how many guilds you can build. So you are not limited to just 3 rangers on the map. Now, there's a ranger, and you can watch him go on his adventure.
Where to journey next?
Now, it isn't all so basic that you never have to worry about it. It is mostly about building, but you do have ways to control them, which we will deal with later. Now, I believe in the first game, when rangers would go walking around the map, they would get experience for exploring. They've taken that away, as it was never that much experience in the first place. This is stuff that's much, much later, but you can upgrade those units to move into temples, which gives them a wide variety of different abilities and powers. It's often worth it, but you can't have too many of those either. Anyway, let's get that upgraded here. We cannot build any other units here, so we can just wait patiently. This is a tutorial, should go by pretty quick. Now, there should be wolves around here somewhere, and they haven't really dealt with the flags, but they're over here. I do not believe I'm allowed to click them yet, but you'll see there's an attack flag, an explore flag, defense. This is a fear flag, and I don't recall what that flag is. I think that one might be a loot flag. I don't recall using that one. So the basic gist of it is, explore is to get units to go over to an area and just kind of see what's there.
Take the path less traveled.
Attack flag, same deal. You can tell them to attack a specific enemy or a specific den that also spawns units. The enemy has a very similar setup as we do. Defense, obviously used to defend a unit or a building. Fear flags are an interesting one because you put those up and that tries to tell them to stay away from this area. Often very, very useful if there's a area you really don't want to fight with. And worst case scenario, they pull it back to your town where you really don't want it to be. That is a great way to do it. Okay, let's get that upgrade in here. It's fun to watch little guys go at 5 times speed. But it's a fun way for this game to work when you don't have direct control over the units, so their placements, their decisions are very basic, but not having the ability to move around it is definitely something to worry about.
Your heroes to serve you, Your Majesty. Give them a task and set a reward for its accomplishment. Different heroes like different assignments. Rangers, for example, like to explore new territories. Set an explore flag to encourage them to discover new lands.
Okay, and now we've unlocked the first one. Now, a thing to keep in mind is as soon as you put the money in place, it's pretty much committed.
Quest is completed, sire. Good work, sire. Later, you'll learn to set bounties on your enemies' heads, flags for protection, and even flags to warn your heroes of danger. It's
There you
time
are.
to replenish your treasury, sire. I'd suggest you order the construction of a marketplace, the foundation of the kingdom's economy. With a brisk trade, your tax collectors will bring more money to the treasury.
Yep, and here is the best part here that I like. There's economic buildings, starting with the classic fantasy place, a marketplace. Well, they've already grabbed the Explore flag, which tells us exactly where our threat is, and right there it is, a wolf's den. I do not believe there's any out here, but it is a tutorial mission. It is a very small, closed-in mission. Do not worry, these missions get much larger. Not too crazy large, but they do get larger. So we're just waiting for this to build. Just kind of showing us the buildings and what we should expect from those. Now, the marketplace is my favorite because this is where you can research the ability to sell things like healing potions, mana potions. I'm trying to remember what other ones they have. There are a few other economic buildings that you need.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete. Your Majesty, you should order the traders to sell health potions at the marketplace. Heroes would gladly buy them to heal themselves in battle. It's a profitable venture, sire.
Okay, and all you have to do is click on it, just like the other upgrades, just like this here, which we had forgotten about, which was to train accurate shot. So our rangers actually have a dedicated button to use against enemies.
Our research is complete. You know, Your Majesty, your heroes each have their own personalities. Some like to hunt, some like to fight, and others like to care for their comrades in arms. You must learn to use these inclinations for the benefit of your kingdom. Order your peasants to build the Clerics Guild. Its disciples will heal your other heroes. Moreover, with a Clerics Guild, you can learn the ancient healing magic of Ardania and directly intervene in your heroes' well-being.
Wonderful. Now they're just leading us into some more buildings. I do not believe they give us all of them in this one. The rogues are pretty nice. They poison their weapons, which is useful. Now, the backbone of your main fighting force will always be the warriors once we reach it. And a thing that's interesting, too, is you want to try and build things close enough so they are more inclined to reach it and don't have to spend too much time running around for no reason. Now, we are doing things a little bit slow. So this is default cost? Interesting. So you can just set these to be higher. You know, I never utilized this, but this is actually quite useful as just kind of a baseline for the flags. Oftentimes, I like to go to 500. That usually entices them pretty quickly to go do that. Now, the interesting thing is you put the money out, they go and collect it, and then from that... Oh, look, it's already 200. Okay, we'll just do that. And, you know, they will obviously choose whether something's worth exploring or not. If it's worth their time. Based on the cost they'll get out of it. But sometimes it will take a while to get one to be enticed to go explore a flag. If you accidentally put one up here, they'll get as close as possible, and then they will still collect it. Yeah, a major thing as well is if you accidentally put down a flag, I think as soon as you click off of that flag, that money is set, and you're pretty much stuck with what you got there. You can cancel it, though, if the mission is no longer profitable. Definitely need to teach these guys Sacred Heal. And the other interesting thing is, with the marketplace here, once it is done, once they are selling items, if they do not have money, they cannot buy items. So if you do not give them quests or things to loot, they obviously won't do that.
Your Highness, our research is complete. Right, sire, that's the spell. Now you can heal the wounded without leaving your throne. It's just one of the many wonders you'll discover on your way to the throne of Ardania.
Okay, and there's the nice thing as well. You are not completely useless. You can learn spells from guilds. Sacred Heal is one that is really nice, especially if you have a high priority target that you don't want to go down, or they are the one taking the brunt of the force from a very dangerous enemy. Well, this cleric's already doing quite well, already level 4. Now, I do believe they get a lot of experience just by healing. Don't know how she got plagued, but you'll notice that she is more willing to fight any enemies there. I don't know if they're waiting for me to heal. I guess I could try.
Quest is completed, sire.
There we go.
I believe, Your Majesty, that you are ready to fight some wolves. I've ordered the peasants to remove the stone barrier that blocks the way to the forest. Set a bounty on the destruction of the wolves' dens by using an attack flag. Only your heroes can accomplish this task.
And there you go. So, that does show what I was saying about earlier. I was unable to actually move here, but I had an Explorer flag, yet they somehow explored it. It's just one of those things that they do, which has its own use. Oh, and this is an interesting one here. If we look just around here, there it is. This is a sewer entrance, and you'll see that there's actually a spawn area here. As your cities get bigger, they will add these in. If a lot of heroes die, you get a crypt. And from there, you can get undead. There comes a group of rats. Now, often the best policy there is to build something around those. Not always, as rats are not the biggest threat in the world. But it is a fun way to kind of make sure you build your city not too wide and make sure you have protections ready to deal with this, as these are indestructible. Okay, time to do what the last part of the mission is. Now we have tons of money to throw at this, so we'll just put all of our money on it, and pretty much all of the heroes are going to be enticed for that, as 1,400 gold is a very high amount. And there you go. The wolves, unfortunately, have already lost their fight. It will throw more out, but it is a tutorial. And do not fear, this game ramps up very, very quickly in difficulty.
Victory, sire. Well, perhaps I exaggerate a bit, but it was well played. Already the real estate value for my mansion has increased. You have great potential, Your Majesty. Onward to victory and the throne of Ardania.
There you go. And this shows what you have at the end. And that's a general idea of a mission. Now, there's usually more to fight. And this is the last thing that can happen here, is you can go through and pick one hero at the end of every mission to kind of make into a lord. Now, all that does is keeps a high-level hero that you can hire later if you so need. Not usually a bad idea to grab one. It doesn't cost you any money to select a lord, and they'll always be there. Now, they do get abilities all their own as they level up. So your choice ends up being, do you want a healer? And you can see all their stats. Ranged attack damage is quite good. And the healing and throughput of these units, they have very good magic protect. They have a more average but lower end defense of both. No magic protections. But he does come with 5 potions automatically, so let's just select him. Uvantino the Trekker. All right, and that is the tutorial mission here. Nothing too drastic, obviously, but now we're going to get into this mission here, which will teach us a little bit more, but is an actual mission that we need to do. And often, what you can do is actually look at these and find what mission you're really going to be dealing with next. Which I'm actually unsure of that. Another interesting feature is this map is the same map they used in the original. It looks very similar. Now they did update it, but always an interesting thing there. But
Good morning, Your Majesty.
Let's get into the mission.
Still an early riser, I see. I have news for you while we wait for your breakfast. Yesterday, after you retired, I continued negotiation with the head of the local Merchants Guild. Well, the guild is ready to sign a trade agreement with you. Believe me, sire, the kingdom needs this. There are certain concessions that need to be met, but the investment is well worth it. Soon a steady stream of gold will flow into your treasury. Ah, your breakfast has arrived. Well, the details will wait. Bon appetit, sire.
Okay, and here we go. This is going to show us a great way to make some money.
Your Majesty, to develop trade, you need to build the marketplace first. While your peasants are working, send heroes to the port. The Merchants Guild representative is afraid for his safety and refuses to travel alone. The port is located to the northeast of your palace.
And that is our main objective. Now, this is an interesting part here is you see these chests. Those are automatically opened by any hero that does show up next to it. So what we're going to do is build our marketplace as they asked. Now, here's a whole bunch of new missions. These statues are very nice when you start dealing with later missions and they refuse to fight often. Here's an inn, which is where you can make parties. They just throw you into the deep end of it. But let's start. The best building to, get out there is definitely the Rangers Guild. Very, very important one. This is the Hall of Lords, 1,000 gold, and this is where you can hire in previous heroes. And our next goal here, I think, is Rogues Guild. Warriors are never usually the worst, choice either. Actually, let's go for Warriors. We need them to be fighting, and we'll put them up front as they are very willing to fight, so let's get them fighting. Now, Blacksmith is a useful spot as well, as that will allow you to sell new armor and weapons to your heroes so they can do more damage. Now, the inn for parties of groups is very interesting, and the way that works is you make that party of up to 4, and the way that party will work is whoever you put in the front of that party is who decides what the whole party does. So you can really decide what they will go out and do just based off of that, which often makes warriors the best choice, as they will go and take the fights, which is typically what you really want to have happen with a party. A ranger doesn't make the greatest group, as he's just going to want to explore, which is not useful to bring 4 people just to look at something. All right, let's speed up our process here. Now, what we can also do, and the way these towers work, is you'll see 150 is very, very cheap. Now, another way you can do this is you might think to put the towers out quite far, which does work. However, completely unnecessary sometimes, as what you can really do is kind of tuck them in here between some buildings. You just have the guard there. As you can see, there's already a fight happening. We have a skeleton in our borders, and that's okay. There are built-in guards that will help you, and they'll fight with them. And there you go. He was taken care of. But you can see just how quickly they will attack your base.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete.
Knowledge and
Okay, and you can go really fast with some of these. This one increases the range of. This is a spell. The range your rangers can see can be increased. I don't find that worth it. I don't use that often myself, but we will get these other abilities in there.
Your Highness, our research is complete.
Mana potions are interesting, but not worth the money. We are a little bit low at the moment.
Building is complete.
But how these towers work is after you build them, now we can upgrade them so they will actually shoot ranged attacks. At the start, all they do is really spawn a guard who will fight close by things, which is very useful.
knowledge and skill grow.
But we don't have to commit too much here.
Prepare to die.
Wonderful. So they're already getting some experience in there. Now, I know my mission is down here, but the best option here that I often go with is I choose to usually ignore those and get our heroes leveled up before we deal with it. Let's make a rogues guild over here. And we'll see the guard's gonna walk over here. These royal guards are very useful early on. Well, if they see the problem, of course. We'll just have to hope a hero walks over there, and there he goes. Hopefully in time to save that peasant's building. Unfortunately not, but that's okay.
Give me a hand.
Just a little bit of
Give
lost
me a
money there.
hand.
Ooh, he's actually getting very beat up by this rat, but that's okay. Oh, they do shoot arrows right from the get-go. Okay, interesting. But yeah, you have to decide pretty early on what is worth putting your money into. I find getting all of your guilds out there early is often the best way to go about it. I could have built a tower here to really deal with the rats, but what I'm hoping to do is let them kind of run wild for a while. And if we do that, that gives us wonderful amounts of experience, at least with these early missions.
Sovereign, a building has been upgraded.
Prepare to die.
Of course, it will slow down the process of getting that built, but that's okay.
Sovereign, a building has been
Give
upgraded.
me a hand.
And there is a limit to how much you can be building at a time. Well, he showed up in time to help him. Now he can run back to his base to heal up, and that's what he's going to do. He will heal up in there. Call to arms. It's not a bad one. I don't mind Call of Arms. You know, if you really need the defense, it is there for you. Ooh, we're actually having a little bit of trouble here. Well, that's unfortunate. I did make a bad call there already.
Die.
Okay, well, then we are going to have to play it a little bit smarter and actually build a defensible tower here as well. I think we'll build it out here a little bit. Be just a little bit safer here. And I also wanted to guard
Give me
outwards
a
from the
hand.
town.
Give me a hand.
Actually doing quite well. I think he could have won that fight, but he lost his nerve.
That's nice.
Now, the other thing we really want to do is we want to get that blacksmith in here.
Did I put out that fire?
Yeah, we'll put a defense flag here. Because we really need that to be helped. Hopefully it gets helped before it gets destroyed.
Prepare to die.
That is also a bear, which is scary.
Your Majesty.
Okay, let's get those heroes with their new abilities.
Not today.
But now the warriors should stay around this area for a while. I I think the way this works is with defense flags, they slowly take money out of the defense budget until it runs out. We'll definitely need to get clerics out here. Which it is almost done, which is good.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete.
We can grab this too while we're here. We're gonna get a lot of these things upgraded.
Your Highness, our research is complete.
And we're gonna want to use our money on the Rogues Guild first. The other thing that's nice is rogues don't need the upgrade. They can just have these things. Now, this is the other thing. The Rogues Guild does sell poison that the other heroes can use. They also do not need an upgrade. They just have their power. The main thing we want to do here is definitely weapons. We will get that going, and then warriors obviously need that. And you can see that the armor types are just based on a few certain ones, almost like a typical RPG, that your warriors, paladins, dwarves, interestingly enough, just dwarves entirely, use the heavy armor. And then you go down to cloth armor. Okay. Might as well get the Sacred Heal in there while this is building. No reason not to do that. Call to Arms is nice, but not necessary. We're already low enough on money. Okay. Now we just wait this out. We're gonna upgrade this one as a better tower will be useful, just in case the bear comes in. And you can always see all your heroes at the top right, which is equally as useful. We got a lot of money in again, so we're definitely going to value that. Get them with their upgrade. Okay, all of our heroes are upgraded, which is fantastic. There are no temples, but that takes a while. Okay, now that we've dealt with that, it's time to start exploring around. You can see we've seen some of it. Let's just deal with some defaults here. We're gonna do 200, 400 on the defense, and I usually do about 500, I think. Usually that's what I push anyway. We're gonna do an Explorer flag here. We're gonna throw one out here. Because the Rangers will just take it. They're not too concerned with it. But we wanna be careful. We don't wanna get too close to that. Now, there is a bear den, and you probably saw that this man walked out there, saw a bear, and immediately turned around because, yeah, they're not quite a fan of fighting a level 10 bear. Then here's an inn, which will be useful. And what we're going to also do is definitely build two things. We're going to be building a second warrior and cleric's den, as they make the backbone of most every group. Very, very worth it.
I'll take
Where
care
does
of it.
duty call?
Okay, so let's start by getting rid of some things around here. Is that the bear den? It is, so we got to be careful with that. We would like to fight it, but it being level 10, we really want to wait. Except for this man. He is already geared up and level 8. Now, there is not just one upgrade path for these. There are many more. We just don't have that capability right now, as it is still very, very early on. Trading post is what we're unlocking here in this mission. But like I said, with the early missions, you have a lot of time to really focus on what you need. But that's what we're going to do. And we also have this. Amulet of Regeneration was another thing we sold. Very, very nice, so they don't have to pop too many potions there. And he actually found an elixir. Interesting. These are something you can get as well. I'm surprised he didn't do that. Anyway, there is another ability here under the Rogues Guild. There is Extortion. It gathers all the tax income instantly but they take a cut of it. I often do not use this. Oh, I did set an attack flag, so you can see a lot of them have answered the call. Actually, even a rogue answered the call. Interesting. Now, this rogue will unfortunately probably stab this once, and then will probably flee the second a skeleton comes out. Apparently not, because that warrior is already so powerful, he took care of the problem.
A reward for my toil.
And I think you can see the stats of the warrior. These all level up, but you can see they have a lot of defensive stats, and their melee damage is quite good. Now, he is also level 7, but... And the reason we didn't actually attack this one here is I want to leave this here to kind of keep attacking, and hopefully the lower level heroes get a bit of free experience here fighting them. Thankfully, the heroes will not break those down too often. So we can definitely utilize that feature. Now, a thing you also want to do, and this is a weird one to do, but very worth it now that that's cleared, you can build guard towers near these trading posts, because once you build them, they can be attacked.
All these boring sights.
And you really don't want to let them just do that, so building these nearby is very, very useful. There should be another one here, but we're going to have to take care of the bears, obviously. I think we're in an okay spot here that maybe we can try to take care of the bear. We'll see what they can do. He is level 7, so he should be able to put up a small fight against this bear den. And we'll definitely make a group out of this. We'll have one of each to just have the classic team setup. With a warrior ahead, and they will be our main group to take care of any threats. Unfortunately, he's not helping with the bear, but that is how it goes. I do not believe I have the feature yet for the inn to do that. Maybe this was actually not useful. You could build these up here as kind of distant healing. Oh, he has 5 healing potions, so he can definitely take care of this problem. Thankfully, with an assist from the ranger. Fantastic. Okay, and there's your bear den. Okay, so this was my mistake. The grouping up part is not ready yet.
Knowledge and skill, great.
And we're just going to put money on this bear, and everyone will show up to fight him. The only thing that sucks is rogues will sometimes try to fight things they have no hope of winning. The rogue is strangely not defending their home. Not quite sure why she's doing that, but... Oh. Okay, interesting. Oh, that's not even her home. That's the blacksmith. Okay, maybe I didn't put this close enough. That is going to be kind of in the way. That's okay. I think we have a plan here. And what we'll do is we'll build a second Warriors Guild. The rogues will not fight. We will have to for them. Oh, well, if it does fire, we're okay, but... Oh, here comes the guard. He's patrolling again and got healed. I believe he should see this rat. Strangely not. Okay, there we go. That's taking care of the rat problem. Oh. Well, there's your problem. There's a bear den. Take care of that first. Now, sometimes you can put a bunch of flags over in different areas. Let's not do that. As nice as it is to clear a lot of things quick, we want to make sure there's enough people fighting on a target. Oh, wow, she is going to take this fight. She does have assistance, so there are heals available.
My ambition has paid off.
But funny enough, in this game, you get experience per attack, not per kill. Okay, so this should pretty much be a solid deal here. So we're just going to build a tower up and have that ready to go. Now we could increase the speed here. They've pretty much done what they need to do. And what we can do is start giving out some other attack flags. Like I said, we're going to keep that there. Maybe we don't. We do have the rat spawn in there, so we'll just get rid of this. We'll just start throwing out some attack flags. And once we get rid of all that, the mission's pretty much solved. We'll just have to build some trading posts. Watching a bear in 5 times speed is always an interesting time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Someone please defend that. I don't want to lose the tower for free. And we did. Well, unfortunately, there was one rogue bear that showed up. So we'll have to try that again. I don't know how he snuck through there, but he definitely did it.
My ambition.
And you can see our group has really gotten up there in level, which is more than what we need for this stage. This guy's level 11 with poison blades. He can fight off all these.
Where does
By something nice.
Okay, and there you go. Is this under attack again? Okay, there is apparently a bear that keeps attacking. It must be something right here. So we'll explore there and find that last bear den. Since they have chosen to fight us repeatedly.
where does Doodle call me?
Okay, where's that bear den? Found him. Okay, he's a high priority target. 1,000 gold will get them moving. And now we can finally build that tower. You know, you think I'd learn my lesson, but that's not what we're doing here. As per king, you must not learn a lesson and will instead dig your heels in harder. A zombie out of nowhere, which is interesting. But we're pretty much where we need to be. So, oh, we're definitely gonna have to go over here. There's definitely a threat. We'll have to fight that, but what's gonna happen is we get close here, and I'm gonna have to put a lot of money on a defense flag here. Very, very important to do. Put 700 on that, but it doesn't look like anyone's biting. Oh, there we go. We got somebody. Problem is there's a lot of undead in the way, which may scare off any potential explorers. But he seems to be doing quite well. Nope. He has decided against it. Oh, we have another one, except they have also fled. But the nice thing is you'll notice that they're kind of getting pulled slowly back to town each time this happens. Which is where we can definitely fight. She is going to try and do that exploration quest, but she's blissfully unaware of the threat walking up behind her.
Your Highness, our research is complete.
Oh, and a bear. Okay, eventually one of these heroes will do what they need to do. He just has to be careful here. Oh, he's fighting the zombie. He is doing fine. He has 4 more potions. Yeah, he should definitely have this fight in the bag. The upgraded weapons add so much. Just look at the defenses they get. Actually, where did he get expert leather armor from? I do not sell that. He apparently has upgraded his own armor, or I think that can happen out of these treasure chests. That whoever opens it actually finds all the goods. Okay, we'll do 1,000, because what happens is the further away it is, the more difficulty they'll find it, you know, to even try the quest, because is it really worth their time to run that far? When there's not any other money to be had, the answer should be yes, but you know how the AI are. mean, what? That was an interesting noise. You can see just how strong they really are there. So he only got money out of that one, but that's fine. So we've pretty much solved all the problems we have here.
A new quest for
Here we go.
Majesty. Your Majesty, the Merchants Guild reports that their representative couldn't come. A caravan of donkeys was sent instead. Oh no, don't be insulted, sire. It's even better this way. It's common knowledge that donkeys are the engines of commerce. Tell the heroes to protect the caravan until it reaches the palace.
Let's see, if you explore this quick, you know, a few of them will die. Trying to get there as 80 health is not a lot, but we put way more money than we needed to on this flag. It won't even get all the money out of it.
The quest is completed, sire. Good news, Your Majesty. Lands and materials for the construction of trading posts were brought with this caravan. The Merchants Guild made an assessment and have marked the places most suitable for trade with their caravans. It's time to make some gold, sire. Build trading posts in those places.
Okay, and all we have to do now is find each spot where they have it. There's one.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete.
Strangely, some of them are missing. They're usually here. Oh. Nope, the donkeys aren't there anymore, but I can still build here. And we just wait for these to build. I do not believe there's one here, but we'll explore it. I think we have the map cleared, so it's just a... Oh, well, fantastic. There's something to fight. We'll send them in.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete.
And these can be upgraded. I don't remember what the upgrade really does for you. More health, obviously, but I think it's also a
Well
defensible
done, Your Majesty.
upgrade.
The construction of the trading post is finished. Is there any finer sight than a caravan laden with riches heading to market? The Merchants Guild appreciates your business and cooperation. Now, wherever you go, you shall have the best of their donkeys at your disposal, Your Majesty.
There you go. I think that is it. Yep. And there is our mission. All right. So we have a lot of choices here. Now, Rogue's high level, I'm not super interested in. Now, she did find a Masterwork blade, which I believe is the highest quality blade you can get. Interesting. There is that. So something to look into. She found a Ring of Protection, which puts her at 1848.23. You can see that's not all that important, as her armor is still just the same. But a Masterwork blade is plus 17 versus this being plus 6, is it? Interesting. Let's see if anyone else was fortunate enough to skim any powerful tools here. With a Masterwork blade, she might be worth keeping. Now, of course, these are just something they can buy as well, so it's not that important that we utilize them. I believe also at level 10... Actually, no! They did not get a new ability at level 10. Okay, so really in this case, I usually say rogues are not the way to go, but at a plus 11 bonus over a upgraded blade already, and you can see them, they only get a plus 4. So that is plus 13 damage over top. That is 50 damage, which is near double what he can do. Now, of course, she has 172 health and he has 500. But if she's able to get in there and fight, that has a lot of value. So we're going to actually pick a rogue for once. I typically don't look at their weapons, but that is too good to pass up. And now that we've done that, you can see they're starting to show a little bit more of the missions we can expect. We have the Great Towers, protect the borders from the Minotaurs. This is punish Baron Delot for insulting your Majesty. And this one is still a novice mission. This is tutorial, novice, and then you're immediately into advanced missions. Now, the advanced missions now expect you to have a good grasp of it and do that. Expert are your final missions. And it does slowly grow in difficulty, so you don't have to worry too much that it's already hitting its mid-game there. Now, some missions are different. This one here, there's a dragon. And this is a mission where I believe they teach you not to go too aggressive too fast, as the enemies, if they're high enough level, will absolutely get pulled to your town and you will have a very, very bad time. But let's take a look.
Your Majesty, today you'll learn one of the main responsibilities of the king, the protection of your borders. Borders are, well, borders. Every respectable state should have them. They say good borders make good neighbors. Well, their protection is the most important task of your day. That and good grooming. Years from now, Your Majesty, as students gather in the classroom discussing the great rulers of Ardania, one of the questions they'll undoubtedly ask is who best defended her borders. After today, with a bit of my unparalleled advice, your name shall be at the forefront of their discussions. 300 years ago, hordes of Minotaurs roamed these very lands, laying them to waste. One of the great kings of Ardania began construction on a series of fortifications to protect his people. Before they were completed, the Minotaurs were beaten back by heroes drawn to the lands by the scent of adventure. And so, the fortifications were left half completed. But now, the Minotaurs have returned. Sire, you need to find the foundations of those guard towers and finish their construction. This will strengthen the borders and ensure the safety of your people. To reclaim the throne of Ardania, Your Majesty, you'll need their devotion and support.
Wonderful.
A new quest for you, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, our archives state that fortifications were started to the north of the palace, in a mountain gorge. I think we should search for the bases of the two unfinished towers there. The faster you find them and complete their construction, the better it will be for your kingdom.
And there you go. So, we have the new mission. There's Minotaurs. You start building everything up. However, I think what we're going to do is that is getting us close to our first hour here. So, I just want to take this moment before we run out of our time to reiterate what I'm planning to do with this series. Now, with this game, you can see we've already gotten quite a few missions in. It is definitely a strange RTS, but an interesting one, just being a different offshoot of what you would expect from most RTS games. I find that I've played a lot of these very weird ones when I was growing up. And be sure to look out for those, because I'm sure I'm going to introduce those back in, even some that I've played and uploaded already. I will bring them back to see if we want to see any more of them. But the main purpose of this series is not to go the whole way through these games, sort of give you a taste, and this will be a giant playlist, I'm sure, at some point. I will have many, many games, but I will try to keep all of these new series uploading into this one. So, as far as this game's concerned, we will see, and you guys can let me know what you're feeling. As, you know, 3 to 5 hours, I feel, is respectable enough to get an idea if you want to see more. And if you guys want me to branch out to different genres of games as well, that is something I can do. But for now, we're going to do different offshoot strategy games and see where that goes. Yeah, I think that's about all we need here to discuss. And I think another thing that might be fun with these series is I'm going to try and make it so as soon as we hit the hour break point, the video cuts off one way or the other. I think that'll be a fun little bit of information you know, going